What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my prediction that God of War Ragnarok will be delayed in 2021, so it'll go into 2022. Now, this could make people mad. Let me explain myself, go over it. Being a diehard God of War fan, being a diehard PlayStation guy, by the way, I'm not anti-anything, so I just want to kind of get that out of the way first. But I do want to talk about kind of the stage that Sony has set going into 2021 and how I just, again, there's just something in my gut, but it's just something there where I really think this game is going to be pushed going into this year, okay? As always, make sure you guys are subscribed if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't been subscribed and you have liked the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And if you guys super like my stuff, make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel. It's called Podcast Now Plus. Plus is in the word. I wanted it to be the symbol, but it can't be. A link for it is in the description below, or of course you can obviously just search it up on YouTube. All right, so my main basis for this, by the way, and there's not much to go off of, I understand that, okay, is Horizon. And the issue with Horizon is this game, and I guess this is for the people that are not like late, but there's people obviously that this is the first time they've ever seen my channel. Horizon Forbidden West was originally said to come out in spring 2021. Now, I've said that before, so people that have been with me for a while are probably very tired of hearing me say it, and I do apologize. But remember, when this game was announced, there was a developer diary, not necessarily like called that, but they talked to some people in Guerrilla, and they were talking about the game while showing the trailer, and they said in that trailer that they expected the game to release in spring 2021, okay? Now, that was all the way back in June when this game was first announced at that State of Play. Since then, there was the PlayStation ad, remember the PS5 ad going into the PS5 releasing, that had a bunch of games. It had Gran Turismo, it had Ratchet & Clank, it had Horizon, it had a few others, but Horizon said, I think, anticipated second half launch, something like, I don't know the word for word thing, but it said like you can anticipate it to come out in the second half of 2021. Now, what does that mean? Again, I know not everybody is always going to agree with me with this, and that's okay. It's okay to not agree, right? We can all have our own opinions, but I think the game was internally delayed. For whatever reason, they thought they should say back in June that the game was going to be ready for the spring, and then sometime between June and recently, they decided, okay, the game is not going to be ready for the springtime. It'll be ready for the fall. We'll release it in the fall, and that's, I think, what merited basically the change, okay? So I know that's Horizon. I know I spent the first 2 minutes talking about Horizon, not God of War, but to me, that's the biggest indicator. And really, you can look at any other game. You can look at Kena Bridge of Spirits. Kena was supposed to release on launch day. It's now coming out in the spring. Ratchet & Clank. Remember, the rumor was Ratchet & Clank and Demon's Souls were literally like a coin toss of they wanted to be launch day games, but they may not be. Demon's Souls made it. Ratchet & Clank didn't make it, okay? So again, like, what do all these examples have in common? They're all big names. Even if you don't know, Kena and stuff like that, they're all big names, and they've all been delayed. What's a game that is also big that we haven't really heard if it's been delayed or not is God of War. So here's the issue. God of War was obviously announced at in the September State of Play, at the end of that State of Play, right? We got Kratos' voice, we got Ragnarok is coming, we got the logo, that's it. And it said 2021. There's just some, and again, I know it's complete speculation. That's the thing, too. Like, if people are going to get super mad, I mean, it's not like I don't want to play the game. It's not like I don't like this game, right? I absolutely, I mean, if this game comes out this year, it would be a pretty killer year for Sony, don't you think? So I am definitely, like, I want it, okay? It's just something in my gut tells me you have Horizon, you have a big, and also, I mean, you look at logistics of that too, by the way. If Horizon comes out, say, September or October, can you also do God of War in the exact same time period? I guess you can. I'm not saying you can't, considering it's the fall, it's the holiday season. It's actually kind of crazy to talk about the holidays right now that we're into January. It kind of seems stupid to do, but, we're talking about the holiday season. You're trying to push the PS5, right? It's been a full year out at that point, okay? It's year 2 of like Black Friday and those kind of sales and all that stuff. You're looking for a reason, or to give people reasons to get your system. So having Horizon and God of War coming out, say, a month apart would be a pretty amazing deal, okay? I'm not saying it wouldn't be, but just, I don't know, like, if Horizon was supposed to come out, let's say, in like April or May, now it comes out in like October, November, let's be honest, God of War is not coming out anytime before the fall. Can we all agree on that? So when they said 2021, they meant fall of 2021. In fact, they probably meant holiday of 2021, right? They probably want that to be their October, November game to push the PS5s. We can all agree there, right? So that's the case. Well, I mean, if it gets pushed 1 or 2 months, it's gone. It's gone. It's out of 2021. I mean, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? There's not much more to it than that. And another thing too is, like, Horizon had a full thing. Now, we don't have gameplay. We don't have more information even, right? I'm sure we'll get that relatively soon in 2021, but, we had a full trailer. It was like 3.5 minutes, right? I mean, you guys are probably seeing it right now that I'm editing it in, right? So we had 3.5 minutes of that trailer. God of War, we literally got, a 45-second tease, which, again, was absolutely nothing besides his voice and the logo. Now, I'm not saying, that's the only thing that they have, stuff like that, but I mean, look, it's only been, it hasn't even been 3 years since God of War came out. This shocked me. Seeing the announcement of God of War Ragnarok shocked me because I'd really, up until that point, I'd always said, I don't believe, we're going to get it. And so I was wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before. You could say I'm wrong here, by the way. You can use past examples against me. It's okay. But, the point is, I was shocked because the game had only been out, God of War had only been out for less than 2.5 years at the time Ragnarok got announced. And it's Horizon, we're approaching 4 years, okay? Even if you look at a game like Spider-Man, it's going to take 3 or 4 years easily. God of War, it's all right, well, we're about to approach 3 years since the game has been out. Can they turn it around that fast? That kind of led to the discussion. In fact, I made a video, and when Ragnarok was first announced, I made a video asking, is Ragnarok really like that 1.5 game? Is it the Miles Morales, the Uncharted Lost Legacy of God of War? I still think it could be, to be quite honest with you. Now, I know the argument is kind of well, why would they do Ragnarok as a side game? And I understand, I get that. I'm saying that kind of pops the bubble, right? But I do think you can't throw it out entirely, right? It's definitely a possibility. If that's the case, it does honestly add a little bit more to okay, it could be ready then if it's a smaller game altogether. But if it's a full, a God of War 2, basically, God of War 2, right? If it's something like that, I mean, it's, I don't know, can they pull it off in such short amount of time? I think they could, considering, again, they felt very confident saying 2021, but again, we all know, you don't say 2021 in September of 2020 with what they showed, the amount they showed, and you're yeah, that game's a January or February 2021 game. No, obviously, we're talking, and same thing, honestly, with Hogwarts Legacy. When we saw that same state of play earlier on in that state of play, right? It said, 2021, live the unwritten, or whatever that the logo or the slogan was, and it said 2021. Nobody's expecting that game in March, right? Nobody. We're all expecting it in the fall, because I do get that. I mean, it is definitely possible. You don't have to say, because I've seen an argument, I know I'm kind of rambling, I've seen arguments where it's if you don't say spring 2021, or if you don't say spring of the year, and you just say the year, you probably mean the second half of the year. I guess that's probably more right than it is wrong. I don't think it's always the case. I think there are examples that it hasn't been, but I do think that's you can kind of lean that way and be generally more right. Again, one more time, I want the game. I want the game right now. I want the game yesterday. I loved God of War to death. I've loved God of War for a very, very long time, before 2018. So I really do want this game. It would kill. It would absolutely kill for PlayStation. At the same time, I think, with more games that come out and they're just broken messes and people kind of bag on them, I think a message gets sent more and more into our heads where it's okay, we should all try and probably band together and say, just take your time. We should all, I think, be over time more willing to say, don't rush it, okay? Because I'm not saying they're going to put, and that's another thing too, they're not going to put this game out unfinished. Sony is just flat out not going to. Last of Us Part 2, while people didn't necessarily love it, it did not come out unfinished, right? The multiplayer, but that didn't count. That wasn't included in the game. Ghost of Tsushima, that game came out finished, right? Miles, all these games came out when they were actually done, okay? So if it takes them until 2022, it's going to come out in 2022. They're not going to rush it to come out earlier. In fact, they kind of proved that again with the rumors of the games that were supposed to come out for the PS5. I mean, do you think that they wanted Ratchet and Clank as a launch day game? Absolutely. Because it probably would have pushed it even more. Now, all the PS5s were sold out, so maybe you could argue against it, but I think they wanted Ratchet and Clank out. And I wanted to play Ratchet and Clank, but the game wasn't ready. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, that was a good one, right? That one I would have preferred to play day one. That one got delayed. So Sony is in that mindset where they're not going to put out games when it's unfinished. But I just think, really, again, the writing's on the wall. I'm basically just talking my way through all this. There's really no evidence. But I guess my biggest case of evidence is Kenna, Ratchet and Clank, and biggest of all, even though people don't always go for it, Horizon. Horizon, I 1000% was delayed spring to now second half of 2021. It was delayed. It was delayed 4 or 5 months internally without them telling us, and then they say it out loud. I get it. Some people say, well, if they don't tell us it's delayed, it wasn't delayed. All right, well, okay, so like Dying Light 2, like you don't think that was delayed multiple times over the last like 2 years and I just didn't say anything, right? You can find examples where I'm proven correct, okay? Not to gloat, not to say like I'm right, you're wrong, but that's just how I think it generally works. You don't have to say a game is delayed for it to be delayed. I don't agree with that whatsoever. So I personally, to kind of end it, I personally am going into this year, we're now into this year, I'm going into it not expecting to play God of War this year. Truly, I'm expecting to play Horizon. I'm expecting to play games like Gotham Knights and other things like that. I am not expecting to play God of War Ragnarok. If I do, I will be overjoyed. It will be an amazing moment. It will be an amazing few weeks while I'm playing it. All that stuff. But I'm not expecting to play the game in this year. I'm expecting it to come out early next year. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think the game will come out this year, next year? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you guys want to subscribe to my second channel, again, Podcast Now Plus is its name. You can look it up, or the link for it is in the description below. Would greatly appreciate your support, either of the places, okay? Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. There'll be many, many more God of War Ragnarok videos as we get closer. If I ever see any news or anything like that, I'll obviously be covering this game a ton, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.